Hi friends, it's Amy from Attainable Hospitality here, and I gotta tell you, I am so excited right now. Can you guess why? No? Okay, well, it's because this countertop is clean. It's clear, it has nothing on it, not this stretch of my countertop anyway. I won't show you the others. They are not clean, but I will take this victory right now. I have so much more peace of mind when my counters are clean. However, when I am having people over, when I'm feeding people, my counters can't stay bare. They just can't. So what I try to do is maximize my countertop space when I am setting up food for people to nibble on, peruse, serve themselves from. So this countertop, like every single other countertop in everyone's house, is limited to its capacity. You can't make your countertops bigger, just by snapping your finger. However, you can use your countertop to its full potential when setting up food. Now, I've said it before, I'll say it again, hospitality is not about food. It just isn't. However, hospitality and food are so connected in human culture that most people, if they're deciding to be hospitable, have people over, inevitably you're gonna feed somebody at some point, most likely. So when that occasion arises, I want you to be able to make the most of your space, make the most of what you have, and not focus on what you don't have. So there are some basic just principles, just tips to use your counters to the best of their ability. And the first one is really just basic geometry. So in a rectangular area, like a countertop is rectangular, you can fit more square or rectangular surface area in that space than you can with circles. With circles, you're gonna have pockets of dead space or space you can't use just because of the nature of circles. The rounded edges, they don't go right up next to each other like with square rectangle. So like I have, square Pyrex or rectangular Pyrex dish here, a square serving platter, and when I put those two next to each other, they go right up, the edges touch, and then I'm able to fit, other additional rectangular or square items next to it. Now, I'm not saying you have to only have square rectangular. I have plenty of stuff that's round and oval. But when you are really making an effort to maximize your space for whatever reason, square and rectangular is going to do that better than the circular or rectangular. Now, the next principle or tip, if you will, is to add height. Add height to your serving area. So one of the easiest, quickest, simplest ways to do that is something that is on a stem, like a cake stand. Now, I do use this cake stand for cake. However, I use it for a lot of other things too. It can quickly become a veggie tray, or have some sandwiches or cookies, or any other sort of finger food that I want. It's basically just a plate with a stem, and so I use it like that. So I can very easily put something like a cake stand next to these square and rectangular platters, and I'm not losing any space because it's elevated. It's okay that this surface overlaps the others. It's good that it does because it means that I'm using my space more wisely, and everything's still accessible. I'm not in the way of anything, but I have this additional plate now where I can put some more food. So cake stands, they are not just for cake. Same exact concept for Mr. Punch Bowl here. I may have used this for punch like once, but this has held more banana pudding or fruit, or whipped cream, or whatever, any other thing that I want in a deep bowl, I can put in here. And because it has that stem and it's elevated, again, I can put it right up next to some of my other pieces, and it doesn't get in the way, and it really provides a lot more capacity for that space. So if this was just a bowl with like a flat bottom, I wouldn't be able to fit it here. at least not without like leaning it over the edge, and that's not a good idea, not worth the risk. So another way that you can add height is with something specifically designed for that. Now, this is advertised as a cupcake stand. I may have used it for cupcakes once. I don't know. I make cupcakes. I don't usually put them on stands. So I use this much more frequently for, you know, a veggie tray or cheese and crackers or fruit or little finger foods. You know, anything like that can be served on here. And again, this has like the square bottom, so it, you know, butts up super nicely next to my other, you know, square and rectangular surfaces. And I think one of the best things about this, because I'm not using a piece like this for my everyday. I'm really only using it when we have company over, because it's just, I don't need to use it for my family. But this, because of how it's designed, you just take it apart and it fits into like a box that's 1.5 inches thick and can pretty easily be stored. I keep it in one of my cabinets and I just go get it when I'm having people over, and then I put it away when I'm done. I don't have to worry about, you know, there's some other multi-tiered things that don't come apart, and I have one and I use that one too. But I really like the flexibility of this one because it just gets tucked away. So that is very helpful. But what if you don't have some of these things and don't have the money or ability to go buy them? There are some other ways that you can add height, just using some simple things that your kitchen probably already has. So like I have a dinner plate here, just a little bowl that goes with my dinner plates. I have a larger round plate, and I can easily make this into a multi-tiered tray. So my first instinct, I guess, when I'm putting something like this together is to flip the bowl upside down and set the plate on top like that, because that looks nice. However, I just caution you with this technique because the smaller part is up against the bottom of the plate. It is a lot more likely to tip. It's less stable than if you flip the bowl over how it's supposed to be and then put the plate. So not only do you have the advantage of using less surface area down here on this lower plate, you are creating more stability where it's not gonna be as likely to be tipped by someone being too you know, heavy-handed with the cheese up here or something. So an arrangement like this would be great for like cheese and crackers. Move this out of the way. Cheese and crackers, veggies, whatever, because you know, you have room down here and then you have room here. And then a bonus even, if you have a small stemmed glass of some sort, you can put this onto any sort of tray and use it for sauces, you know, like your ranch dip or something for a veggie tray, and you're not losing really any of the space on the plate, but you're able to incorporate the sauce instead of having a separate bowl or even just taking up so much more space by using a traditional bowl on this plate. So those are some easy tricks to add height. And in addition to adding height, when you are combining some of the things, so like I have my Pyrex here, and I can put this punch bowl right inside the Pyrex, and this setup right here, this would be perfect for like a small build your own salad bar. You know, you put your lettuce leaves in here, and then, you know, some chopped onions and cucumbers and tomatoes, and, you know, just people can kind of spoon what they want into their own little salad bowls, but you are getting a lot done with a setup like this and the amount of counter space that it's taking up. So stacking stemmed things on top of your other dishes, it goes a long way into adding that height. So those are some techniques, and I got one more to share with you from another angle. So the final tip for maximizing your counter space may seem a little bit like cheating, but I still think it's worth mentioning. When you can,
you know, like we have the taller counter here. So sometimes if I'm having a lot of people over and I know that my counters are going to get crowded despite my best efforts, I put these tables, and I have some other ones too, or you know, whatever you have, but adding an additional level of space so that you know, you're doing the most with what you got. So you know, when I do a setup like this, usually I have like the plates and silverware and napkins, and you know, maybe like a big bowl of chips or something on that lower level, so that people can reach it. And then I have, you know, all my hot food and other stuff up top. So that adding that second level when you have the space, when you have some sort of tabletop, that can also be an aid to you being able to set up your kitchen in a way that makes the most sense. As you can see, there's a big difference between utilizing these techniques and not using these techniques.
Alrighty friends, so back to my clean countertop, at least until I take supper out of the oven, and then it will be cluttered again. And just keep these things in mind the next time you are setting food out to host. You have the square and rectangular, you know, using those lines in your favor, and then also adding height where you can, and getting creative with what that looks like. And then also stacking some of your dishes in a way that makes sense and is stable, but having that stackability can really help. And then finally, that last thing of where you have the opportunity, add another surface. You know, if like a higher counter like this, adding those lower tables, I mean, it helps a lot. Or you know, maybe just setting another table next to the counter if you've got a shorter countertop. But take a look at what you have and just see how you can have those things serve you while you are serving others.